So I just wrapped up making the Ratchet Pussy video, so that you know chronologically where this is. I made the really depressing video first, which may be the video you guys watched last. I don't know. Might want to play the experiment again. It's always fun to, whenever I do multiple videos in a day that have different emotional dimensions to them, it's always interesting to see what order you guys watch them in. So put that somewhere in the comments. That'd be cool. Yeah, so I made the depressing video first, and then I made the Ratchet Pussy video, and then I was just sorting files, right? And I wanted to watch the bit from yesterday, the subconscious incest porn bit. And in my defense, right, the girl's very hot. The braces kind of fuck with me a little bit. But the girl's very hot. She's a very attractive girl. And she's a very attractive girl, right? And incest porn is an interesting type of porn. Because if you mute it, it's just porn. You know what I mean? There's the guy on the Young Turks taught me that. And he's absolutely right. If you just mute it, it's just porn. You don't have to pay attention to what they're saying. Doesn't matter, right? You don't want to hear that. Because you don't want to hear that, right? But the girl's very hot. So, fuck you. That's why. That's why. Alright? Girl's hot. Leave me alone. But, so, I thought it was funny because every once in a while you just whimsy strikes and you go, I wonder how the acting is in this one. And then you listen to the setup, and it just made me laugh so much. And then the subconscious mind bit, like she says the line where she says, a sister needs what she needs, and just in my mind I went, she's making a lot of sense, man. Because I was joking with myself. I wasn't serious. Leave me alone. But yeah, so she says that, I think that made me laugh, and then I was like, I'm just gonna record that bit, alright? I just came up with the name for this video, breaking down the bit. This might be a, dude, you know what? This might become a series on this show. Breaking down the bit. Where I explain interesting things I find out about my own bits. Huh. We'll have to see if there's anything else we can come up with this. Interesting. So, I'm like, I'm just going to record that little part of it. And just do the word, And then I'm like, well, there's got to be a setup. You got to understand that they're talking about incest porn. So I stretched the clip a little bit longer, and then it got a little bit longer, and then it got a little bit longer, and then I'm like, okay, wait a second. Hold up. Alright. No, there's really no other way to say it. Okay, so the clip got really long. And so I kept thinking of things to put into it, right? And then I finally find a starting point. I have my end point. I record it, right? Cut it up, do the thing. So that's the way it played out. And the idea was I'm playing his subconscious mind, right? And I didn't script it. I didn't write the script. I'm telling you how it fleshed out. I cut the fucking thing up, and I watched the clip. I stopped it. This is an interesting part of it, because this is the first time I've ever done the voiceover like this. Usually when I'm doing a voiceover, I'm trying to match pace with something. When I voiced over the fucking sign language, I was trying to match pace with what he was doing. You know what I mean? So I had to watch along and I had to script it too. I absolutely had to script it to get the proper cadence to it and everything. It absolutely had to be scripted. It wasn't something I was going to be able to just come up with on the fly, right? So I had to read the script in time with his actions. It's a lot more difficult than you might think. And like when I did the voiceover for the Star Wars bit, I had to watch along with Obi-Wan saying the lines so that I could try and match as best I could his mouth movements. I was trying to do a bad lip reading type of thing, essentially. Because I was saying mostly the same things. I really only changed a couple of words in that. So I really wanted to keep it to where it almost seemed like I wanted to be as close to in sync with him as possible. So I had to watch along with the clip and try and say the words at the same time that he was saying them. You know what I mean? And that was another tough one. This is the first time that I've ever done a voiceover where I've stopped the clip. And I just said the first thing that came to my mind. I didn't really plan it. The only line I had planned out was the last one. She's making a lot of sense. Right? Everything else is just off the cuff. So it's very interesting. I'm sorting my files and I'm like, oh, I'll watch that one more time. It's a giggle, you know. I'll get a giggle. And then we'll go back into Jordan Peterson talking about the Bible again, which is an extremely heavy subject. So I'm like, I want one more giggle before we go back into heavy stuff, right? So I watched the video, and it was very interesting to me. I actually subconsciously played his subconscious in a very interesting way. We're going to go through it, right? This is our psychological... It's our psychological research for the day, right? I'm doing Psych 101 here. For whatever reason. Because I'm watching way too much Jordan Peterson.
Something's on my mind. Maybe I need a brother to talk about it with.
What?
So...
What the fuck now? So that interests me. I made my cuts in very specific places. And I made my cut... After he said that, I don't know why. I don't know why I made the cut after he said what, you know. But or why I placed it where I did. You know what I mean? I don't know why exactly I placed it where I did. But it's interesting to me that like the subconscious is slower than the conscious. You know what I mean? Than the body, whatever. You know, the conscious reacts to what she's saying before the subconscious does. And I thought that was very interesting, right? It's almost like the subconscious comes into it late.
I don't know, there's this like...
What?
I was watching porn the other day, believe it or not.
So the subconscious laughs immediately, right? Because it's funny. It's your sister talking about watching porn. It's like, right? And I realized that you might not have caught that was me. Like you might that might have gone completely past you. Like the whole right there might have gone completely past you. The snicker is very, you know, it's very low subconscious. You might not have even caught it, but I bet your subconscious did.
I don't believe you.
And
You watch porn?
God damn it. My sister's a fucking freak. So the subconscious goes to, oh no, my sister's a freak. You know, like that. I just thought that was funny. I don't even know why I threw it in there. I don't know.
so yes, I watch porn, okay? A girl who does. Okay.
Oh God,
okay,
yes, come on. What?
Actual porn. Brother, sister.
She's fucking with me.
Kind of like...
So the subconscious is like, come on. Which most men, that's pretty much our subconscious when you gals are telling us stories. Come on. It doesn't matter. Come on. Right? So the subconscious, hurry the fuck up. But stops up short when she mentions incest porn. Sex brother and sister, and it's like... And I said, she's fucking with me. Right? Now again, I didn't script this. This is all off the cuff. I said, she's fucking with me. It's very important to recognize the word structure. She's fucking with me.
I don't know, I thought it was different, but like, in a different sense of like, kind of kinky? I don't know, have you like heard of it?
Yeah.
It just came across
She's fucking with
my
you.
mind and...
Now there it changes. She's fucking with you. Right? It's almost as if there's a split now between the subconscious and the conscious. The subconscious recognizes it. And now the subconscious is actually actively talking to the conscious, as if it's a separate being that is distracted by what else is going on, right? I thought that was very interesting, because I didn't script that. That just happened naturally. It's very odd.
It just makes me more curious every time I think about it.
Stop looking at her ass. Now the subconscious is making demands of the conscious, because the conscious is starting to slip out of control.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at her ass
seen
again.
that stuff before.
So the subconscious is a little bit more insistent, right? But it's also getting more tense for the subconscious, right?
It's like everywhere. I mean, it's like...
She's fucking with you. Stop looking at her ass. That was very pleading. And I put that in there mainly because he's like, the conscious is starting to rationalize. He's like, well, you know, yeah, it's out there. I know about it. But, you know, so the conscious is thinking too much about it. And the subconscious is like, no.
I mean, it's like not real, though. You know that, right? I mean, like, at least I don't think it is.
Yes,
I
logic.
know, but
So now the subconscious is rewarding the conscious for consciously melding with it a little bit, or at least touching a little bit the subconscious. You know what I mean? So it's like there's beginning to gain synchronicity. You know what I mean?
come on, if you think about it, it's kind of...
Her ass again. See, now the synchronicity has been threatened again. It's not anywhere near as emphatic as it was before. You know, what I would consider the thing that kicked off almost the beginnings of synchronicity again is, you know, was the pleading. You know, so now they're back together again, but it's like they're you know, it's just not quite sticking.
I don't know, hot? I mean, would you... I don't know, would you, like, do that?
She's
I don't know,
fucking with you.
something-
See, now it's starting to get to be stretching the boundaries of rational reality. You know what I mean? Like, when the question finally gets posed, would you do that? There's a sister asking. She's a very attractive girl. When the question gets posed, the fabric between the real and the insane is now stretched very thin. So the subconscious is like, okay, this is getting so far out there now. I don't care what the conscious is doing. This is too much even for me. She's fucking with you. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, there you go. This is not happening. This couldn't possibly be happening. So it's not like, and you'd think that this would be a moment where the question gets answered, and because there's been a disconnect and a bouncing off almost, that you'd think that it might be a complete fracture. And with some people that could be, right? But I'm also trying to set this up as a joke. So I guess I went the way of there had gained cohesion enough to where the subconscious could be like, yeah, you wouldn't have to be, you know, or maybe the subconscious might realize that if it was too excited about it, that might tip it the other way, you know. I don't even know what to think about that part. I don't know where I was subconsciously. I don't even know where I can't even. It's one or the other. I might have been setting up the joke. Might have been looking for deeper meaning. I have no clue.
It's kind of embarrassing. With the whole, like, sex with brother and sister, I mean, it just makes me more horny thinking about it.
She's fucking with you.
Is that weird?
See, now it's fully beyond the realm of reality. Now it's gotten out there into the absurd. So the subconscious is like, yep, come on. You know what I mean? It's all good, right?
Yes, you're a pervert.
See, now you have full synchronicity. And maybe that's why I had to do it. I probably had to do it the way I did it. Because there is that scene. Makes a lot more sense now. Alright, so I had to do it that way. I had to. Otherwise, this scene makes no fucking sense. There had to be cohesion before we got to this scene. So subconsciously, I even realized that. Holy shit. This is amazing to me. I'm blowing my mind right here. So, we are fully synchronicity. We are one. Mind and body. Right? Subconscious and conscious. Can't possibly be real. You're fucking with me. And the subconscious is saying nothing here. Because they're in line.
No, I'm not.
You're just fucking with me anyway.
No, I'm not.
You don't actually watch that stuff.
Yes, I do.
See, through that whole part, I felt it was unnecessary to put any lines. Because, again, you know, I could have put in a tickler. You know, like, I could have put anything in there. You know what I mean? But I didn't. I put anything in there. Because essentially, in my mind, I guess, the subconscious was actually speaking with the conscious through that entire section of the video. Huh.
In my own downtime you don't know about.
What the fuck does that even mean? Now, she throws out some odd non sequitur. And the subconscious, son of a bitch, just latches right onto it. What the fuck does that even mean? Right? So now the subconscious is looking at the shiny thing rolling on the floor, and the body's staring at her ass, which she just grandly presents and tightens up, and oh my god, it's all downhill from here.
But
I mean, like, it's, I guess it can be kind of hot sometimes.
See, and now we don't even hear the subconscious there. It's thinking about what the fuck her downtime means, and the body's like, well, yeah, you're hot.
well, if you think about it, it's like...
And here, ladies, honestly, when it comes down to it, if you're ever gonna endeavor to try and convince a man to have sex with you, you're gonna have to change a couple words, but essentially this is the argument to do it.
I mean, yeah, it's against the law, but sometimes sisters have their own needs, right?
She's starting to make a lot of sense.
Come on, like...
And so there, you know, there ultimately is the punchline that, you know, now the subconscious is like into it. You know, like that was the punchline of the joke. You know, that I thought that was very funny. But yeah, ladies, that. I know it's whatever. I know it's Sunday, but sometimes a girl needs to fuck. Gets you laid every time. Whatever it is. Whatever the argument is against having sex. Look, I'm married. I know you're married, but sometimes a girl needs to suck a dick. Probably going to be sucking a dick. Oh, I'm just saying, you know? No, that probably will not be that easy. Maybe not with that one. I'm married. That could be a rough one. Depends on the guy. But ultimately, that's the argument that works. I know you're saying no, but I really want to fuck you. Most guys are going to buckle under that argument. There really isn't much defense. I don't even know what I'd say in defense to that. I don't know how I'd get out of that pitfall, because what do you say to that? Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to argue against that. It's the ultimate argument. I have no defense to it. So, you know, whatever. There you go. You know how easy I am. But I thought it was funny. And I thought it was very intriguing. I don't know why. My psychologist's mind has been turned on again by... Last time I had an episode of psychology like this, it's House. Watching House. The season where he was at the mental hospital. And he was talking to the psychologist. There's some real good episodes in that season, man. Some real good episodes. The episode where the doctor took House to the fucking, like, the charity dinner or whatever, and he ran into the one chick's sister-in-law. You kind of gotta watch it. But anyways, he runs into the one chick's sister-in-law, and the doctor pulls him aside. Like, the doctor's trying to essentially get House to interact in a normal way with people, to be a fucking person. You know what I mean? To stop being a dick. And so he's like, look, while we're here, all I want you to do is just try and talk to somebody. Don't do anything weird. Don't just try and get to know somebody. Try and make a friend, right? So, to House's credit, he tries. He goes up and talks to a guy, tries to make small talk. The guy doesn't really seem interested in making a friend. You know? So it was unfortunate that he didn't run into somebody a little bit more affable. You know, whatever. But then he does run into somebody that he knows, right? It's not a stranger, which was the exercise. The intended exercise was make a friend of a stranger. You know, try and just get along with somebody here. Just speak to somebody in a civil manner, you know, and just continue to do that with somebody here. That was the whole fucking exercise. But he runs into somebody he knows, and they concoct this plan to just go around and just make people feel uncomfortable and shit, right? So, you know, they're having a good time with that. And House kind of proudly goes to the doctor to admit his utter failure. And the doctor was like, well, look, you made so much progress with her. You went 2 months down the road from where I expected you to be. I just asked you to make small talk with people. And you got into this convoluted, complex relationship with somebody. Very interesting. And that was very cool. You know what I mean? Like, I always think that's kind of cool. The Pickle Rick episode. Like, a lot of people like Pickle Rick for Pickle Rick kicking ass. But I like Pickle Rick for the end. That fucking last scene where he walks into the therapy session, sits down, and decides to tell the therapist exactly what he thinks. And then the therapist pretty much tears him a new asshole. And I thought it was very cool to see that his reaction to it was, well, fuck her, man. Like, it wasn't unexpected, but it was interesting to see that the writers did that to the character. Because they had to have known. They had to have known ahead of time that Pickle Rick was going to turn into what Pickle Rick turned into. They had to have known. Watch the episode. They had to have known. It's amazingly cool what they did with that. The whole speech with the fucking... With the rat. I know that I might have given you a name like Goliath or something like that, but honestly I don't really care about you. You know, like that whole speech, and really you guys should have been trying to look up to me, or really you guys should have been trying to impress me. Like, dude, fucking, that was such a great scene. It was so cool, but to see him get fucking torn up at the end, man, I was howling through that whole thing. It was great, because I'm just like, because it was very cool to watch the scientist and the psychologist, you know, because scientists study the reason for why things are, and the psychology studies the reasons for why we think the way we do, and I think that's very interesting to watch them combat, because more often than not, the scientific person loses, because psychology will fuck you up, man, because it's in your mind. It's in your head. You know what I mean? So, yeah, really not a great defense against psychology. But, yeah. It was, yeah. I thought that was neat. I don't know. I've been watching way too much Jordan Peterson. I think ultimately that's my conclusion. I've been watching way too much Jordan Peterson.